Welcome to today's Injury and Illness Prevention Safety Training. This class will cover the Injury and Illness Prevention program we have here at work. This program kind of serves as an introduction to our overall workplace safety program. In this training, we will discuss the safety responsibilities for each of us in our workplace safety program. We will briefly cover the need to train our employees in workplace safety. We will explain how we identify workplace hazards, explain the purpose for reporting and investigating incidents, and discuss why we have a safety committee. And then we will round out the discussion with a few ways you can participate in our safety efforts. The overall goal of our safety program is to do the following: provide a safe place for our employees to work each day, educate and train our employees in the proper way to work safely, identify any risks in our workplace and provide solutions to reducing or eliminating them, and to ensure our company complies with all the necessary regulations. We all are to take an active role in making Bingham Cooperative a safe place to work and conduct business in. Beginning with our top management, we have a deep commitment to our environment, health, and safety policies and responsibilities. Our divisional and regional vice presidents both commit to providing high standards in workplace safety. Locally, we too have responsibilities to ensure a safe place for our employees, customers, and vendors. Although these are a little difficult to read, they are and can be found in our Injury and Illness Prevention Safety Binder. For your reference, this is Safety Binder number 2. Regardless of our position or role in the company, each of us have the same responsibility to contribute to our workplace safety. These are our responsibilities. Follow the safety rules described in all written safety programs, regulatory safety standards, and training you receive. Report unsafe conditions or actions to your supervisor unless they can be corrected immediately. Report all injuries to your supervisor promptly, regardless of how serious, within 12 hours of occurrence. Report all near-miss incidents to your supervisor promptly. Always use the proper personal protective equipment when it is required. Keep PPE clean and in good working condition. Request replacement PPE as needed. Do not remove or defeat any safety device or safeguard. Encourage co-workers by your words and example to use safe work practices. Make suggestions to your supervisor, safety committee representative, safety leader, or management about changes you believe will improve employee safety. Cooperate with all safety inspectors during internal, insurance, or regulatory inspections and audits. Help develop and maintain an effective safety program for your operation. Our workforce is diverse in many ways. In our skills, knowledge, education, experience, and the roles which we perform in our workplace. Our safety program is designed to give the basic levels of training to all employees and specific training to our employees as their department or job responsibilities require. We have monthly safety meetings with the intent that the department manager or supervisor will relay relevant and timely safety information to their employees. Annually, we will review the components in our safety program in what is called annual refresher training. This annual training can be part of our monthly safety meetings, viewed online like we are here today, offered in person or in a group, as well as in other formats. We usually accomplish our annual refresher training by conducting 2 or 3 programs in each month of the year. Research has shown that employees in their first month on the job have more than 3 times the risk for an injury than workers that have been on the job for more than a year. In addition to our employee training, we conduct a new employee safety orientation for all new employees to get them acquainted with the more general aspects of our safety program on their first day of work. During the first 30 days of an employee's hire, we continue with a specifically tailored outline for on-the-job training with the goal of helping the new employee become successful in both their job responsibilities and how to work safely. We also provide specific or targeted training for certain employees in their job or task functions. Examples of our safety program include these required OSHA topics: You should be familiar with these because we review these at least once each year in our safety meetings. Additional safety topics include defensive driving, commercial driver training, first aid, CPR, hazmat spill response, hazardous materials handling, environmental stewardship, worker protection standards, propane handling, food services safety, and there's a lot more. We also conduct on-the-job training for handling of certain processes, equipment, and products. In our efforts to provide a safe workplace for our employees to work, we continually look for hazards in the workplace. Once we identify a hazard, we look to the best possible solutions to guard against them. This graphic illustrates some of the considerations and actions we may take. On the right side of the chart, you can see the various options of hazard controls we may consider when implementing changes. On the left side of the chart, you can see that as we consider our options, they range from the most effective at the top to the least effective means to control hazards on the bottom. It is a tricky balance between controlling the hazard, protecting our employees, and meeting the needs of our business objectives. Elimination of the hazard is always the safest option, but it is not necessarily always the best option. We have made a few decisions to eliminate hazards in our workplace, where it makes sense to do so. Here are two examples of hazards that we have eliminated in Blackfoot: the old fertilizer plant, which was a safety nightmare, and the permit required confined spaces in the old fertilizer warehouse. When eliminating a risk is not feasible, we may substitute a hazard for a lesser hazard. Such is the case when we began warehousing a coated elemental sulfur product. Using this new product variation greatly reduced the fire and explosion risk of this product. The option of engineering a workable solution is next on the list. If we cannot eliminate or find a suitable substitution for a risk, we may find we can modify the hazard in some way that will make it more safe. This option is one that we take advantage of the most in our workplace. One example is installing ventilation fans in the Lakeview warehouse. This greatly reduced the levels of fertilizer dust for our workers. Another is converting our top loading fuel trucks to a bottom loading system. This reduced the risk of falls. Another example is adding an additional exit to the tunnel under the South Fertilizer plant in American Falls. This made the access considerably more convenient, in addition to making the accessibility a lot more safe. Administrative controls is a fancy way of saying, let's just make a rule. There are some hazards that by implementing a set rule, procedure, or process will help reduce the nature of the hazard. An example of this would be making the rule that we wear ice cleats when we're out on the snow and ice. Another example is the detailed process we follow when loading and unloading BAPAM and KPAM. The weak part of this safeguard is when individuals bend the rules or they flat out choose not to follow them. And for this reason, administrative controls are a less effective option, as say substituting or eliminating the hazard. The least effective option is to look at a hazard and simply say, wear a pair of safety glasses and you'll be just fine. I'm not implying PPE is a poor option. PPE can be exceptionally effective when used right. Relying on it as the only safeguard against a hazard may not be the best option, like wearing a harness in place of a guardrail or wearing gloves instead of using a guard on an auger. Sometimes the best option is to combine controls to reduce a hazard, like the guard on a hand grinder, plus wearing gloves and wearing safety glasses. PPE can be very safe, convenient, practical, and cost-effective to make a hazard task more safe. However, like an administrative control, PPE only helps when it is worn. Incident reporting is an important part of our safety program. We are required in many instances to report incidences such as injuries, vehicle incidents, or environmental releases to government agencies. These may include OSHA, the DOT, EPA, the DEQ, as well as others. The data we collect from reporting is necessary for multiple purposes, such as filling out workers' comp claims, legal documentation, incident analysis, and also to inform management. Tracking the specifics of our incidents help us understand how, where, what, and why an incident occurred. Investigating the incident allows us to get to the root cause of what went wrong and helps us identify the improvements and corrective actions we can use to prevent it from happening again. It also helps us identify trends and evaluate our progress. In the past, illness has not been much of our safety program. It just really has not been that much of a hazard working here. COVID-19 changed that, and as you have witnessed, illness prevention has become a more relevant part in our workplace. This is something we track now. OSHA regulations require that we have a safety committee. We have two, one in Blackfoot and the other in American Falls. The benefits of a safety committee is to involve more people in our safety program. We rotate our employees on and off the safety committee so each can offer their voice in our workplace safety. The safety committee acts as a liaison between employees and management. They help develop safety policies and practices. They conduct inspections and audits. They help review incidences and near misses. They also make recommendations for safety improvements. They also contribute to our safety culture. Our workplace safety program is most successful when employees take an active part. Oftentimes, employees have the best ideas for improving the way they do their job, both in efficiency and in safety. It takes all of us to make a difference in improving our workplace. If you see something unsafe or have an idea for a safety improvement, please let others know, like your supervisor or myself. Near misses and good catches are just some of the ways you can contribute and participate in our safety program. In this training today, we have talked about the responsibilities we each share in our workplace safety. We have covered the reasons why we train our employees. We have explained how and why we identify workplace hazards and some methods how we go about reducing them. We have discussed why it's important to report incidents and the benefits we can have from the investigations. We have talked about why we have safety committees, and we've identified a couple of ways you can participate in our safety efforts. This form lists our employee responsibilities that we discussed at the beginning of this training. To receive credit for this training, click the form to the right, print, sign, and return it to your supervisor, or you can just ask your supervisor for a copy. Thanks for your time today in completing this Injury and Illness Annual Refresher Training. Please be safe out there.